Hey everybody, welcome back to the MVP Office Hours. It's August 1st. I'm Square Kirschner. I'm joined by my favorite person in the whole world, Joy Shutters Helbing. Say hi, Joy.
Hi.
And lots of other great friends that we'll be talking to shortly. We took the month off, so if you're expecting some recordings in July, you didn't miss them. They just didn't happen. So here we are, we're back. We're always on the first and third Friday of the month when there isn't Midwest Streaming and holidays and things like that happening. Joy and I can be reached on LinkedIn, and don't use X. We keep it out there because it's active, but don't do that. Some upcoming events after July, there, which was really busy for a lot of the community. We've got We Dreamin', Witness, Forcelandia, and Mile High, all in August in the U.S. And Brazil Dreamin' is the 19th in August there in Sao Paulo. And then just a reminder coming up, Salesforce is starting to do true to the core deep dives, live webinars that are, I'm really excited about them.
Go, 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 go to these things. They're going to be amazing. I'm so
They're
excited.
they're a great way to level up, to actually get the voice of those product owners and have questions answered real time. It's good stuff. So definitely do that. And then of course, October is Dreamforce 2025. And so hopefully we'll see some or all of you there. If we don't see you walking by, please pat us on the back, throw us a gumball, whatever it takes, get our attention because it's great to see you in person.
So do we just follow the giggles?
Yes,
That's where you
exactly.
find joy. There it
The
is.
2-inch windows on Zoom are not enough to get to know all of you. So come and find us and we'll find you and we'll connect. So
Don't be shy, but give us context because
yeah.
it's like, wait, how do we know you?
Yeah, don't just walk
How?
up and throw your hands out like, hey!
Woo! MVP office hours. That's great. Thanks. Okay, moving forward. All right, what we got next?
All right. Well, registration QR is there on the left-hand side. Same bit.ly as always. Just
Oops.
ground rules, in case you forgot, since you've been gone, everyone is welcome to be part of this conversation. Share what you know, share your ideas, post links, resources, answer the questions. This isn't about one person or a group of people. This is all of us working together. If you have a question of your own, post it in the chat. We'll get to you as soon as possible, or just raise your hand and we'll do the same. Remember, we're recording, so please don't share any private or proprietary information while walking through your question. Feel free to share that screen. Let's just make sure it's not recorded forever on the internet. Just a reminder, we still can't allow anyone to have AI transcribing this call for a variety of reasons. So if you're getting blocked, you're getting a weird message, that's why. And last and most importantly, we want to have fun, but let's stay professional and stay positive. And with that, I'm sorry.
I think that was it. I think we
Yeah,
got it
that's
all.
it.
Real quick though, Todd is not on, Tony is not on, and Katie is not on.
But
All
I
right.
am here.
Oh, Todd's here.
Oh,
How come you jumped? You jumped on my list
What?
because you unmuted. Sorry, I was like going through the list and I didn't see you. I'm so glad that you spoke up. Todd's here. Let's talk about Todd.
I just had to unmute.
I did talk about Todd. Now let's talk about scheduling
Yeah.
solutions.
yeah.
Actually, I got a little bit of feedback. We're looking at
Do
a
you,
few.
do you
They're
want to
still
give a little bit
gathering.
of context real quick, Todd?
Oh,
Because not everyone was here last time we talked about the scheduling challenges. And so you want to
yeah.
just like catch
So
everyone up real quick?
we have an internal process where we're trying to schedule our graphics designers with our schools, our customers.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, we've been able to rework that process and cut out a bunch of middle people. But we're still needing a scheduling tool to put on the page. They have to fill out a form with some additional information. So we've been looking at Salesforce Scheduler. Somebody threw out Calendly. And then at Midwest Dreaming, I found Sumo.
Ah,
So we're going to be looking at a few of those and pros and cons to going with something outside of Salesforce like Calendly.
okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see where we end up. They're still working on the requirements. So
Okay.
what we're dealing with is an ancient process, probably older than I am, where we had
Well, I mean,
like 3 layers in between the sales rep and the graphics designers.
so
Going,
I don't know if everyone understands like your business. You're in publishing in
correct.
a special niche kind of way.
Yes, we are. We're the third largest yearbook publisher in the country. And that's
Yeah,
the side we're
so
dealing with right now. And what we do is our customers can opt to have a 1 hour session with a graphics designer in Lynn County, Missouri, corporate headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a virtual cover session where they design their covers or help them get started designing their covers. And then the graphics designer goes away and finishes it up and brings it back as a proposal for the school.
Okay.
So it's that scheduling of that 1 hour time period that we're trying to overcome right now. And in the past, it's been manual. Someone has an Outlook calendar of all the graphics designers, and the sales rep gets the
Mm-hmm.
possible times from the school and then talks to a scheduling group who talks to the graphics designer. And if that doesn't work with the graphics designer, it goes back to the scheduling group, to the sales rep, back to the
Right.
customer.
So super streamlined. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're cutting out that middle. So the idea here is with a calendaring product, a solution that we can settle on, they'll be able to look at the graphics designer's calendars directly and schedule a time while they have the customer on the phone.
And
Right.
Todd, are you guys Google Workspace or Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Are you at E3 or above?
I don't know what you mean by an E3.
So just like with Salesforce, there's many different SKUs available in the Microsoft ecosystem.
Gotcha.
I think it's E3 and above. I'm probably wrong. But there is a SKU level in the Microsoft ecosystem where every person can have their own personalized calendar link that serves similar to,
Calendly.
yeah. There's
Hmm.
also a product in the Microsoft suite called Bookings that,
I have seen that.
yeah. So you may want to look into those. I've solved a similar problem, and what we ended up doing was my solution needed a automated email to go out with the ability to schedule with a salesperson. But
Okay.
instead of buying an additional product, what we ended up doing was putting each relevant salesperson's individual Microsoft Bookings calendar on their user record, and then used Salesforce flows and things like that to automate
To
everything
leverage
else.
to leverage that link, and
Yeah.
that's slick.
Okay.
Bookings, though, is what you might need if you need that singular view of all the designers.
Okay.
Well, and I wanted to ask a follow-up question on that, Will, because like the big dumb hammer way to do this, if I heard your process, is that the sales rep, while the customer's on the call, needs to align them with a graphics designer. So if you had all the appointments in your platform as a custom object, potentially, you could have a calendar display all of them, and you could just see, like the salesperson could just bring up that activity calendar. It wouldn't be activities, but to see where they all are and then just plop them in. You'd still have to do a swivel chair to get from Salesforce to, like, say, Outlook to schedule it, but you could see schedules or even sync the calendars and see schedules
But you
potentially.
might not be able to see their individual calendars. Like you'll see what's been scheduled for their graphic designer slots, but you might
Right.
not be able to see, like, oh, I'm out of the office for 3 hours because I have to talk to XYZ
Right.
executive, or I have, a lunch date with my best friend, or I have a doctor's appointment, sort of stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
All right,
And
Dana, we're going to tack you on at the end. Great.
Another kink in the works there is none of our graphics designers are Salesforce users. So we can't use EAC to
Right.
sync their Outlook calendars and things like that.
I would look in to see if you have the
So-
Bookings product.
Yep, I took a note, so I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
So there's another one. You got Calendly, whatever that other one was called.
Sumo.
Now you got
Sumo
Microsoft
and
Booking.
yeah.
I want to hear all about Sumo. I hope you dig into that one because I'm not familiar.
I'll let you know. Thank you for the time.
All right. I don't feel like we helped you a lot, but Will sure gave you some ideas.
He did.
Did you say you were?
Thanks,
I'm
Will.
sorry. Did you say you were looking at the Zoom scheduling?
No, Sumo.
Sumo.
Zoom. Zoom has its own scheduling product inside of it that we are currently replacing Calendly with.
Okay.
So
Well,
that might be something else to at least take a glance at.
yeah, we gave up our Zoom licenses.
Oh, there
Company
you
no
go.
longer has one. We're on Teams.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Get that. We hear that kind of stuff
So-
a bit.
Yeah, trying to get to a corporate standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I get that. That's good.
But thank you for that information, Scott.
Linda has sumo wrestlers in her
Yeah,
hands.
and a guest too. Oh,
Hi, Davia.
Hmm.
She can't hear us. I know. I know.
She couldn't, and she wanted her sumos back, but
Oh, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right. So the next thing that we have to talk about, and I don't think Tony Lynn is on the call, but you know, please someone interrupt me if Tony's on the call. Hi, Michael. And we have Tony wanted to create cases from collection, then update the collection. And was there any momentum on that, Squire? Did you see, or was that
There was a couple posts. So that was posted what on the 6th?
on July 11th? And then
11th.
and then Katie had a question about why is my escalation rule not firing? And so neither of them are here for us to really like get better context on that. So let's go to the Pat and Dana, who both have questions in-house today at the moment, and then we can circle back to those.
And just a quick call out in case we don't get back. If you have thoughts on either of those topics, please use the success to help them out. So there was some chatter, but it's been a month for one and a week for the other. So anyway,
Yeah.
Pat, I think we have a really quick answer for you, but we want to make sure we understand your question.
All right, can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, most of the time with this laptop, it all flakes out. So anyway, we just purchased the full sandbox, and you got your create sandbox, and I'm wondering, in the sandbox access, it says active consultants, or it says you can either do all active users or user group, and it recommends a user group. And I did create a public group for our internal users. So not with the consultants. I don't want them in there.
So you're talking about on creation, who to grant access to, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And what is the question?
So I'm looking like to grant access to our internal users.
Okay.
And should I include the field history data and the chatter data or not? I don't think so. I'm like,
All right.
I don't know.
So
In my past, I have not, but you all have opinions, I'm sure.
So see, it feels like there's a couple questions there, Pat. So let's kind of start slow and work through it. So the first question is, it's a full sandbox. So that means it's a full replication of all of your production data. So you have to answer the question for yourself about whether you want everyone to have access to that data, because you're not really doing maybe the governance that you would at production level over time. So just be careful with that. I would offer and please everyone speak up, but access to a full sandbox for users should be limited to your power testers or your primary contacts that are looking at work. If they are playing or don't need to be in there, you shouldn't be granting them access, mainly because hopefully you're deploying through that full sandbox. And so they may or may not be in the right box at the right time for right changes. So I'm going to pause there. Does anybody else have thoughts on that very specific topic?
So in response or a refinement or pile on, however y'all want to talk about it, I would say to that similar grain, treat it, because the data is a full replication, literally, of your production data. Treat it as such, protect it as such. It's production data. So a lot of organizations will not obfuscate your full sandboxes in order to replicate and use it as a hotfix environment, whatever the case may be. So to Squire's point of view, treat it like production, even though she ain't production, even if people are playing it, because it's production like data.
Agreed.
Okay.
And email deliverability turned off right now.
Hi,
Very smart.
Joyce, you beat me
Especially
to
if you're
that,
granting access,
Joy.
right?
Yeah.
It can be turned on for limited testing, but turn it off right away and turn it back off
Mhm.
if you ever turn it on for anything.
The only other thing I would add to your questions about should I include chatter in this, and the other thing is also, what is your refresh strategy? Because if you are working on a specific build where you don't need that data and you probably won't need that for a long time, who cares? But then if you do end up with a build or some requirements that need you to have that data, then you might be stuck up the creek for a month
Yeah.
before you can refresh again.
Now,
All
I
right.
hear you could probably submit a ticket to Salesforce support to then speed up the process, but that may incur frowns and or costs.
And, goodwill. Like, don't burn it all down on something that you can figure out first.
Okay, so treat it just like production and protect the data. Turn off email deliverability and no chatter data.
Unless you have a need for the thing. That's what the critical piece that I think Will and I are saying, it depends on your needs. So why are you creating this environment? What is it being used for? Again, but at the very top, protect it like production data because it has all your customer information, all the emails, the phone numbers, social security numbers, if that's the data, it comes through as is. So unless you apply another activity to obfuscate or modify said data, she be production data.
And then the other thing to remember for any sandbox now is that your users are automatically marked with invalid and frozen, except for the person creating that sandbox. So you need to include or create a public group of the people that you want to have access to that sandbox so that you don't have to go through the whole unfreeze them, change their email back and forth, and then set their password.
Also,
Okay.
pro tip, if you update email and hit the reset button, it's one email as opposed to verify, then reset password.
Not always anymore.
Oh, darn. See,
Yeah, sorry.
Tricky.
no, it's okay. You're not.
I try
Cheryl?
that a lot, and
No.
if your internal email system uses Mimecast, that won't work.
We know about that, Linda. We
I
know about that a
know.
lot.
And this is why we keep Linda around. She knows everything.
Yeah, this is why I
Just
don't
runs into lots of problems,
recommend
that's all there
clicking the
is to
button. I
it.
don't recommend clicking the button for reset a password. Use a dev console.
One last thing I think I heard during that conversation that I think is important too, Pat, is there are several ways to implement data masking in a full replication. And if your infrastructure requires you to use your full sandbox for anything as far as testing or whatever, and you need to have access to full data, it's definitely worthwhile looking into some of the tooling. Salesforce has its own masking tool. There are some other third-party tools that will do that. So like it doubles down, whatever, on the access policies that you are trying to implement, because if there's a problem, who are they going to point at? And it's going to be Pat in the target. So make sure if you're thinking this could be a problem, then go find a masking tool, either the Salesforce one or there's the stuff from Shield, or there's a couple other tools that you can implement. So anyway,
Okay. So in my public group, I should only have people that are going to be like that are the super users, which are the testers, and also to use a data masking tool.
Yeah, probably. And I would even go one step further and ask yourself, are those super users actually being asked to do something right now? Right? You can refresh that full sandbox monthly. So if you don't have a use case that requires someone to have access, then don't set it up. Or maybe it's only like you and like your two favorite high quality intentional BAs, and that's where you start, right? Because you can always still reset those users like On and several others we're talking about. But if the door's wide open, even if they're not supposed to be in there, they can get in there. So
Got it.
yep.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Good luck. What did we miss earlier, Joy? I know there was somebody else.
Yeah, I have it right here. Dana had a question about a flow, and then the true to the core stuff. Links are in the chat. And I will tell you from my adventures this week that the folks at Salesforce are very, very excited about bringing this series to everyone.
Well, they say that now. They haven't gotten their
No. They're very, very excited about sharing out the information more so than the feedback. Like, I mean, the feedback, I don't know, you all have heard it. Feedback is a gift. It's all in how you read it. So, Dana.
Oh, I was gonna say, sorry, Dana, one sec. Thank you, Joy. You just came from cab. If you could share anything at the end of that, that would be great.
I can't. So
Dang it. All right.
Data, talk to us about your flow.
Hi, everyone. Not quite sure how this works. This is my first meeting, so
We're so glad you're here.
Yep,
We're
and
so
we
glad you're
can't
here.
wait to help.
The one warning I'm going to reiterate that Squire went through is like, please don't show us any proprietary information or data on your screen if you choose to share your screen with us, because we want to make sure that your company and your company's data and you are protected because it is recorded.
okay. Yes. So what I'm working on right now is a flow. And basically it's for my company, they like sell a medical device. And so we have like quotes, which we call charge sheets and everything. And the charge sheets are connected to an order. So
Mhm.
automatically it's created. But there are like different statuses. So one of the status is pending fulfillment, which basically means like the order isn't fulfilled, the sales rep needs to add in something to submit it. And so I'm creating a flow that will essentially after one day, the sales rep will be notified via an email if the status is pending fulfillment. So after the order start date, we give it one day, and then after that one day, that email will get sent out if the status is still pending fulfillment on the order object. I've gone through and I've created the flow, but I was testing it and I used a test order that had a start date of June 2025. Yeah, like June 25th, 2025. So well over one day. But when I ran it and I like skipped the start conditions and everything, it went to the default option. It didn't trigger for an email. And so I'm just kind of stuck because I don't really know what's going on now.
You came to the right place.
Yeah.
There's
lots
like
of
4
unpacking.
people who are biting their lips right now. They're like, I want. So can you all play nice?
I was just going to ask her to share her screen.
Yeah, I
It's a
think
good start.
it's great. Let me go ahead and do
So
that.
hopefully it's a sandbox environment.
Yes, it's in
Okay.
RUAT. Let me share this. Okay. So, all right. So, this is what it looks like. It's a scheduled sugar flow, I believe, and pretty much I have to get records. So, for the order object, the status needs to equal pending fulfillment. The order start date needs to be greater than the order date plus 1, which is a formula that I created. And let me actually share that real quick. Actually, oops, let me get out of here. Yes, so it's just the record effective date plus 1, which is our API name for order start date. And then I did all records. So that's the get records portion. And then the decision is if it's pending fulfillment.
Can I jump in with a question?
Yes.
This is a schedule triggered flow.
Wait.
If you just close that, it's not a modal now, whatever this thing is that's open. Yeah.
Just go up to the header of the flow. What type of flow is it? Right? Like the first
or the
node.
start element.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's on order. And what are you getting? Are you getting another order?
So what I'm doing is just collecting all the order records. And then I'm going through and making a decision whether or not it equals the conditions that I set.
Can you show me what's in this get records element?
Yes. So I use order as the Salesforce object, and then the on the order record, there's a field called status, and the status has to equal pending fulfillment. And then the order start date needs to be equal to, greater than or equal to order date plus 1. So, and then the order date plus 1 is this formula I created with the API name plus 1.
So if
Why would the start date ever be after the effective date? Isn't the start date the beginning of the timeline?
Oh, so effective date and start date, the record effective date is the API name that we use for start date, for order start date.
Yeah. Same question though, in that logic,
Mhm.
when would the order start date be bigger than the start date plus 1?
So I guess the way I was thinking about it was, if so say like a sales rep submits a charge sheet and it's pending fulfillment and it was done the 29th. So 1 day plus the 29th will be the 30th. And
Right.
right,
that's
but I think what Squire is asking is, if I'm understanding correctly,
Mhm.
you can leave the formula where it is. I'm going to use the pointer again here.
Mhm.
This field is this field, yes?
Yes.
So what Squire's asking is how this formula can never be true, because this formula is me equals me plus 1. Never going to happen.
Okay. Okay.
You would
Right. So
need,
like if you plug in numbers to help with Michael's saying, if you were to write that as a sentence, you're saying, and the 29th is greater than or equal to the 30th,
right.
which can never happen, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think what you want here in your formula is flow run date. Because you want to say, is the order start date greater, yeah, actually less than or equal to today when this is running? Yes?
Um, okay,
Because
sorry.
it's all right. The flow will run a day after it's effective.
Yes.
And so you need to compare the effective date to the time that has passed and if it has been modified or not.
Okay.
But I was actually about to ask an earlier question. Now can you close this modal? Actually, and yeah, and close that one. So I'm confused. I think you might have a misunderstanding of what's happening with a schedule triggered flow. So when the flow starts, it effectively is getting all of the order records that
Mhm.
meet your entry criteria. So
Yeah.
I don't think you need this get records element.
Okay.
When you work on a scheduled flow, this is both confusing and really handy. When you work on a scheduled flow that's for an object, because you can do ones that don't have an object, but let's not talk about that right now. When you have one like yours where it's a scheduled flow by object, you can think of it as working on a single record. So think of it as the start conditions fire, and you're getting all orders, let's just say all.
Okay.
And then for each one, it's like you're running a loop. You could do a decision. Is this one's effective date yesterday or earlier? In which case, send the email. If not, do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't need a get and you wouldn't need a loop, because effectively this scheduled flow is a giant loop.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right. So I will get rid of the get records and then also get rid of the loop that I had. I'm still not too like,
Hold on, you may not need to get rid of your loop, because what are we retrieving at the top of this? What object are we starting on?
They're both orders.
They're both orders. Okay. Yeah.
I think the trick though is that if you're not passing, if she's passing the get records into the loop, then you have to loop. But Michael's saying
Right,
you don't
right.
have to
No,
do
I-
that at
yeah.
all, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think, Dana, I think you actually are about to build a flow with, like, I'm trying to count it in my head, like 4 elements.
Mhm,
The start element,
mhm.
it's a decision, which is the effective date _C field yesterday or earlier. If no, do nothing. If yes, send email. Done. And
Okay.
it's going to do that for every order. You don't have to think in terms of the bulkness, because it's going to do it for each one.
So then how do you reference the one it's working on? Is that the triggering record?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
When you look at this in debug, did it look like it was presenting what you expected? I mean, like going back to kind of what when I was picking it apart a little bit, like did you see it giving you the data points you wanted it to give?
No, so it gave me like it looked like it ran right because before I was having issues with the actual um email itself, so I resolved that. But what it did was on a record where it should have sent an email, it did the default outcome. And so I looked into it and um I was trying to figure out why it wasn't running, but it said that today minus effective date, the conditions weren't met, which I guess now that I know that my formula was incorrect, that's probably the reason for that. Because originally I thought, okay, if the order that I'm testing it on occurred in June and it's August, it should run. Like the conditions should be met, but it wasn't meeting it. So
Yeah, so I mean, I'm seeing up in the node just above where we are right now. It's it's giving you the order date +1 is giving you a June 27th date. So then, if the record that you started on had a date of the 26th, so if you go all the way to the top, you should see what initiated the record. Oh, you don't have all the data. That's okay. I was thinking it was going to display it, but it's probably going to say something like the 26th, which is less than the 27th. So it's not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're seeing this, the second half of your formula in that order date +1 area, but you're not seeing the first part, like what value is it comparing? Because it's not your fault. You didn't, because you said use the whole record, it doesn't list everything out for you. So, but if you were to select very specific fields, you then see what it's storing, and you could also do the compare.
okay. Flows are not my strong suit, so I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
You're
Well,
doing great. Your formula element, I was right. It was a date field +1 that was going to generate the right date. I actually think in your decision element, it was in your get records, but the problem was not your formula. The formula was fine, but the problem was that the formula is returning 1 plus this, so this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to switch that to less than, it would probably work, but it might not be the right formula or the right logic for you. But it's going to now say, oh yeah, that one works. I'll send an email.
Okay.
It would always return that. No, this is still not going to work because
No?
order date is in both of these elements.
But order date and order date +1 are two different things, right? No?
Well, sure, they are two different things, but if the order date is 6/26, order date +1 is always 6/27. So this version where it's less than or equal will always be true.
Right.
So
Can I
that's
throw another option out there as well?
Please.
And an option, and I've done this before, is to move your logic back onto the object. And so what you would do is create a formula field that's essentially a checkbox, and you would write your formula on the object. And when the formula evaluates to true, you check the box. So for example, in that object, you would say, okay, if today, which is what I think has to be factored into this formula, is greater than or equal to the order date plus one, or whatever that is, whatever criteria you want, to make that a checkbox true, you would check the box. And then all your flow has to do is run once a day and look for the check boxes. And then it would send an email to every check box. And then the next day that checkbox would go away, and it would no longer pick up those records because it picked them up the day before. So your flow becomes really simple because all you're doing is saying, make your entry condition, the box is checked. If the box is checked, send the email, done. All your logic then moves back onto the object, and you're happy because you can control it right there. That's an option.
I like that too, because you can then use that checkbox in reporting or dashboards. You could just have, you can say, give me every record that checkbox is currently on for any reason, and not have to know anything more than that just tells me it's overdue or whatever that flag is, right?
And
I love
it's,
that.
yeah, and it's slightly more efficient because then, to Michael's point earlier, you don't need to query all the records for the scheduled flow. You're only querying those where formula is true.
I will play devil's advocate. I'm in total agreement with everyone, but so by doing that, you get all your logic into the start element. I'm game. However, you have built a field that lives on your object forever, even if you disable this flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas you could put the logic in the flow and leave your object clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 100% about whether you can use that data point on the record other than the flow. That's your decision. Yeah, I'm with you, Michael.
Yeah. I mean, we can already kind of report on pending fulfillment based on like the status field. So, that would have to be a discussion that I have with my team to see if we want to configure the page layout like that. But yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Well, I do mean to interrupt, but I apologize. You just said something that threw me off a little bit. So if you already know that these are pending because of the status,
Mhm.
then can't you just run the flow for the status?
She wants to wait one day before she sends
And
it.
so it's not, so the reporting then, I'm with you, Michael. So then the reporting that you're talking about isn't as simple as just by status. You have to write as, I have to filter by status and is today plus minus one the delivery. Like you have to write
Oh.
configuration to make that report, which goes back to, well, if that checkbox does more than that, maybe it helps. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I think kind of what I was kind of getting at was more of just like in terms of reporting, like we can really just, see like who's pending fulfillment in general. And that's for us would just be more helpful just to like, have that. But for the purpose of like communication, this is kind of, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but
You're doing great. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yes.
yeah, so we just really want to automate this. So we don't have
One
to.
other question. Do you want to send that email once, or do you want to send it every day once it's passed where whatever condition hasn't been satisfied?
I think we would probably want to send it every day until it's been satisfied. Just
Until the status changes, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Who does it send to?
Sorry.
Who does it send to? The owner of the order?
Yes, the owner of the order. And I created like I said, I was having a lot of trouble like with loops because this is the first time I ever worked with it. So I created a variable for email addresses and then just like the order, the owner ID, and then the email.
Question.
Yes.
Was your goal with this loop to send one email to the owner of multiple records that are in this status, as opposed to snowing them under with one per order? I'm game with either way, by the way. Snow them under if they need snowing under.
Yeah, so Sales reps can have multiple orders that are in some cases like pending fulfillment. So I would prefer to have all those pending fulfillment orders sent to them in individual emails, just so they like know they got to get on it, because that's how they get paid. So yeah.
Okay, so with that choice of I'm going to send them one email per, you, like all we talked about before, where you can make this a very simple flow. Check if the order needs the email, send the email, done. If you had said you wanted to send one for all of their emails, then you'd have to do something relatively complicated in a loop and build up a table in your email. It can be done, but that's an advanced flow trick, and it doesn't sound like one you need to go down right now.
Yes. Yeah, this is primarily the first step for us. It's just like actually getting this communication out. If we want to limit the amount of emails, then I guess we can, but yeah, this is like really the biggest piece for us. So I just want to clarify, I'm not quite sure still like what I need to do as far as this piece, just because it seems like if I do less than, well, maybe I could try to debug it, but to me, it doesn't make sense to do less than.
Currently, your formula will either because your formula is not checking against today, it's checking against itself. So if you do less than, it will always be true. And if you do greater than, it will never be true, because your current formula, let's take June 26th as our date. Your current formula always returns June 27th.
Okay.
So what you want is a formula that says, is June 26th earlier than today?
Okay. All right.
And
Which in theory, if you change that value to the today parameter,
right,
would work, right?
correct. Yeah, totally. You could, instead of using order date +1, you need order start date less than or equal to flow running time today.
Yeah. And
But-
probably just less than, not equal, right?
Oh yeah, less than, definitely less than.
Okay, so flow running.
Put your cursor here. We're going to show you, but you don't actually want to use this get records element, but X that out, get rid of that. Running flow interview, current date.
Oh.
That's today.
Yeah. And then change that to less than, not equal. Otherwise it'll run for today, even if it's not overdue.
Oh.
So I'm going to also say something about naming conventions. I don't know what your org's naming conventions are otherwise, but I'm going to recommend that your flow have one and potentially two things in its name. And you're going to have the opportunity to rename this anyway, because you're going to save as a new flow. I think it should have the name of the object it runs on, which I think for you is order. I always start with object underscore and then what the flow does in a short sentence, very short. I go back and forth on this one. I would, in this case of a scheduled flow, object underscore scheduled underscore what the heck it does. And I would recommend you save this as a new flow so that the API name of the flow will match the label of the flow. That's up to you. And that gives you a chance to be starting fresh all over.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I guess I could just really see. Still, let's execute. But
So what is the date of that, of the order you passed in, do you know?
yes, so this one is oh, is this. Let me just Let me just stop share real quick.
There could be something else in the like the triggering, like the starting node or the get that maybe we have to clean up as well. But that formula that Michael just helped you out with looks like it should work exactly as we verbalized. So there might be something else going on too.
Okay.
You should be able to put that logic in your start element. So you're
Right.
going to have start element gets orders whose stage and date, etc.
Yep.
And it's only going to get the ones that are yesterday or earlier, and then
And
send.
you,
So
and you don't even need the decision point then, because you're only getting the ones you wanted to send anyway. It's only 3 nodes now. Just keeps getting better.
it's two nodes. It's a start and the send email, and you're done.
Okay, fair enough.
Anybody old enough to remember Name That Tune? Because that's what that sounds like.
And I'm going to even make a plug for send them a chatter message, mention them in a chatter message, which will also send them an email, because I love chatter.
Something else is going on in the flow.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I might have to bring this one back because I'm a little stuck on this. But all right.
How are you feeling, Dana?
It's okay to say overwhelmed. We've got
Yeah.
5 people trying to help you, and I'm not sure if we are.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming. Yeah.
The reason I asked was because we will post the recording of this call so you can go through it at a pace that's a little bit easier while you're not driving the screen at the same time.
Yep.
If that helps you.
Yeah.
I think what
Okay.
might be useful is I'm going to call Michael or Squire out, but for Dana in rewatching this, one of them who has helped the most walk through so she can rewatch like first, like step 1, get rid of your loop, do this. You can simplify it just so she can go back and watch it. Because Michael, you're right. This could be simple, just a couple of elements leveraging how screen flows or scheduled flows run.
You guys gonna do rock, paper, scissors? Yeah. Who's got a dev org up?
So I think Michael's a better one, but Dana, would you bring that back up really quick? The debug is giving me a headache.
Pause.
I don't know why. So if you could jump back, stop right there. So you see where the outcome conditions pending fulfillment day after 1 day is giving you a value of 36.
Yes.
So 36 is greater than or equal to 1. That should be working, but you've got a user active null. So you've got something else is failing. It's not just the math. See, I was saying user is active is set to null equals to true. That's going to be a false. That's why you're defaulting out. So it's not just the formula. There's something else too. So in the today minus order start date node, above that one. Yep. So why is this active user active equals true? It's passing null. Is that because it's in debug, Michael or Will? Is that like, it's been a while.
If a user is not active, you can't even go get them. You cannot get them. So
Is that looking up? Is that the user looked up through the order? Can you click on, can you click on that pill? Which user is that getting?
The owner?
Oh, do you have a formula field on order that returns if the owner is true? Is active?
No, we don't.
So
What is
what's
this field?
what is the idea behind this part of the filter?
So this was just to be, because I had seen like when I was first debugging it that user equals active like was null. So this was what I tried to do to try
Click,
this.
but click that resource again. The syntax doesn't. I'm with Squire. It's giving me a headache. I think you're missing a $sign in your syntax there.
But
But
I
it's
know she's.
there.
I know
Let's
she's.
look
She's.
it up
I know
again.
she's clicking it. Like.
Like
Hover
click
on
the
the eye,
X
it
to
gives
get
you
rid of
the
it,
API.
and let's do it again.
I love that I like just tried to scroll on your page. Like, need to
Oh, that's a
stop.
record variable.
Uh-huh.
So you should be able to just go from the record owner. So like whatever you said, this is an order.
But wait.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wait. What? When did we get users?
we
Hey,
didn't.
there's no user records in the flow.
Yeah.
You
But you
gotta
should
use
be able to
run, you
sneak
gotta
up on
use a
the
running
user through the
user,
owner
right?
view, right?
No, you can sneak up on the user because it provides it to you already. So like hit X on that, Dana, and then just type user. So just stop right there for a second. Go back.
Yeah, don't select anything.
Dana, can you X the user again? And then type user right where you are and just stop. So you see she's clicking into that user record. So Squire, your point, you can get the user info from that running user info right there.
But she didn't click that one. She clicked the one above.
Which is where I'm also like, where does that come? Oh, it must come from later in the flow. That's why it's null.
But she's working with a record triggered or scheduled flow.
Yep.
The running user is going to be automated process, not the owner of
Yep.
the order record. So she really needs to pull that from the order record, the owner of it.
Yep.
Which means you are, Dana, going to need a decision element because you are not going to be able to span that relationship in the start element. And that's okay. It just means it's going to be a 2-element flow instead of a 1. Sorry, Star. Unless you do the
Twice as much work, Michael. Twice as much.
Twice as much. Well, you could make the formula field, which is possibly 4 times as much effort.
Okay.
I don't think we're helping.
Let me take the screen share and I will do what Will suggested.
All right. Clock's running. You got 4 minutes, Michael.
I just threw this up here. So start element. Let me close this. Okay, start element. Scheduled flow to run daily. I used opportunity because I don't have a custom object to use at the moment, right? Stage equals closed 1. In your case, it would be whatever your stage was, Dana. I've already forgotten. Sorry. And then so I tried this. The triggering record, or sorry, it's the opportunity. If I wanted to get owner, apparently I can't type today. If I want to get owner, I can't span the relationship here in the start element. So I'm going to do the slightly more complicated version. I'm going to get all opportunities whose stage is closed 1. And then I'm going to do a decision. Okay, now I can span it. I should be able to, triggering opportunity, owner, active. We want only to do this if active is true. And I'm using close date, sorry, triggering opportunity. I'm using close date as my proxy for your field. Less than. Where do I pull this from? Running flow interview, current date. Now I have my decision. If I hit not, I'm going to end. And if I hit yes, I'm going to do my send email, which obviously I have not built out all the pieces of. This is the flow you need.
Okay.
The decision, as Squire said, you could build this as a formula on the record, and then it would be, you know, a check or an uncheck. If you built this as a formula field on the record, you could put it in the start element, right? Your formula equals true. You wouldn't even need stage, just your formula equals true. And then you wouldn't need this decision, and you'd be all set.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to. I really appreciate
Happy Friday.
Will suggesting that we
Mhm.
like make the diagram. This is
Solid.
You got this.
Dana,
You got
yeah,
this.
you got this.
You
You
got
totally got this. Dana, I am so glad that you called in today and oh, you're there. I was like, where'd you go? So you moved down my screen. I'm so glad you brought this question to us. It was really great. And it is a shining example of what we try to do on this call. And so for your first call to bring in a solid win, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Like we feel good about it. You feel good about it. And in 2 weeks, we're gonna have another call and I want to hear how it goes. So that's a personal invitation to come back. And Scott, solid options with a formula. Pat, I love the full sandbox questions. And did we hear from everyone, Krishna? I don't know if we heard from you, but I know that Anne poked at you to reach out to someone else. And so James, it's good to see you. Clayton, hi there. And Will and Michael, thank you as always. Christy, what would I do without you and my flow problems? Dana, if you don't know anything about me, know one thing. Flo and I are not enemies anymore. We're just not best friends.
Yeah.
I have a post-it on my wall. It says we don't hate Flo. Trying to reconcile that relationship also. But
And
we're
before
done.
we forget, Joy, too, since this is your first call, Dana, this recording will be on MVP Office Hours on YouTube, hopefully by end of day. So we jump to the last 5 minutes where Michael closed it all up, and you can watch it again at your leisure.
Okay. And Joy, I did have a question for you afterwards.
Mhm. Yeah. So you can ask it now. You can ask in the chat. But this is it, friends. It's Friday is the end of the call, and so you don't have to go back to work. It's not up to me, but I got to go back to work. So thanks so much for coming, friends. Bye.
Bye, all. Thank you.
Bye.